Hello, welcome to my podcast. My name is Kalu Aja, and this is the way I see it. Of course, my podcast where we're talking about money, finance, and of course, the economy. So last week I did watch a video about a Nigerian consumer, and he was really lamenting about the very, very high cost of inhalers in Nigeria. He had asthma, and according to him, the company that markets the inhalers, the Ventolin brand, was leaving Nigeria. So the cost of the inhalers has gone up significantly. He used to pay 1,500 for an inhaler. Now he's paid about 8,500 for the same inhaler. So in the video, he was saying here the government should do something. He was giving specific actions, perhaps bring the company back to Nigeria so that the cost could fall. Very interesting. So I decided to take a look at this whole inhaler pricing and see how we possibly could address the concerns by this consumer who was clearly in need of this drugs to be cheaper. So on Amazon, I went to Amazon. The cost of an inhaler is called the branded Ventolin, 60 accutations. Give or takes about $24. I looked at it November the 16th. Let's assume we have a 1,000 naira to $1 exchange rate. That means this particular inhaler would cost about 25,000 naira. So what is it? I marked that up by say 50% to cover my import duty, transportation, etc. Right? So that means it lands in Nigeria at about 37,500 naira. So this is clearly unaffordable to many Nigerians because the minimum wage in Nigeria, believe it or not, is about 35,000. It's just gone up by to 35,000, yeah. So if you did it this way, not a lot of Nigerians can afford it. In America, Amazon does sell this exact same inhaler for just $4 if you've got insurance. If we mark that up, that's about 6,000. So when you were getting there to where it's affordable, but if you have insurance. So if this gentleman that was talking on the video had insurance, in Nigeria it's called the NHIS, he would have contributed about 5%. His employer will contribute about 10% of his basic monthly salary. Then possibly he could then afford this inhaler, either at the 6,000 or at the 35,000 if he had insurance. The question now arises that what if he doesn't have insurance? This then means that the government would have to step in and fund an entitlement program for those that cannot afford this. Remember, this is a life-saving drug, right? So just like Medicaid, the government will have to step in and fund this program. It's going to be an entitlement program on a need-based, or should we say income means tested basis. So it's a choice. The government can fund its expenses or it can fund healthcare. And there are many ways the government can fund this, right? It could simply take oil money and buy tons of inhalers. It could give tax breaks and grants to GSK to come out to Nigeria. But I'm for the view that the government can easily fund this by simply cutting down wasteful expenses. Let's look at the numbers, right? If we took the costs, let's just say 5 billion, I'm just figuring out the year, 5 billion, and we converted that to dollars, that's about $5 million. If we went to GSK and we gave them a $5 million contract, at the minimum, even using the high price on Amazon, we're going to get about 133,033 units. This is taking the price on Amazon without insurance. We get nearly 134,000 units, which is significant. We can distribute to Nigerians that cannot afford this. So it's really, really that simple for Nigeria. Cut down expenses and use those savings to buy life-saving drugs like inhalers for your citizens, right? And you can also do what the guy has said. Call back GSK to Nigeria, probably give them a tax break or give them a long tax holiday and say, hey, make this drug, it's very, very, essential for Nigerians. We'll charge you no taxes, just come in and make them so our consumers, our citizens can afford them. That's really what we need to do as a government, right? But the bigger message here is simply this. The government exists for the poor and for those that cannot take care of themselves because they simply can't afford to. An inhaler is imported. Even at $4, which is about 6,000 if you add the markup, not a lot of Nigerians can afford it. Thus, the government can step in and use its resources, its oil revenues, which is paid to the Federation, to subsidize the cost of these life-saving drugs. And the government can only get these revenues when it cuts down on its own wasteful expenses. So the long and short of it is this. The government cuts down on wasteful expenditures like yachts, like bulletproof SUVs, like perfume, and it takes those savings to buy life-saving drugs for its own citizens. Believe it or not, this is a hard choice in Nigeria, right? Should we buy yachts or should we buy inhalers? I know the answer, and I know you listeners know the answer too, but does the government know the answer? That we should either buy yachts or inhalers. My view, my prayer is that the government does buy not just inhalers, but build schools and build hospitals for the poor and the vulnerable, that they're able to have a better life because they have a government that cares and listens to them. Like I always say, Nigeria's problem is the spending, not the revenues. All right, folks, thanks so much for listening. Again, my name is Kalu, and thanks for listening to this podcast. The way I see it's available anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, and the rest. Download it, share with a friend, and I appreciate you for doing that. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.